This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250 podcast, where we are watching the best movies ever made according to IMDb, and we have stopped at number 5 for a while now. And in the middle of this month, we're doing David Lynch, and we're on movie number 4. We've done 3 Lynches so far. We did Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway. This week, we're doing 1977 Eraserhead, written and directed, produced, special effects, sound,
furniture,
sets, lighting, furniture, everything. Dead babies, everything by David Lynch. Thing. Yeah. So we're here. In a normal episode, I'd apologize, but on this episode, I'm going to say, you're welcome, guys. You're fucking welcome for making you watch this. All right, We're going to do 20-second spoiler-free reviews. We're going to start with John again because he's a Lynch newbie over here.
Fine. Fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
So also, like this whole, there's a lot of it that I really appreciated. The sound design is that sometimes it just was too weird to watch, almost very uncomfortable. The family scenes were ridiculously good, though. I there are certain scenes in there that really knocked me out, but fucking weird, man. Weird.
QC, what do you got?
Yeah, it's a strange movie, and that thing freaked me out. It's definitely a scary kind of just idea, and of just like going into the darkness as a dad. And I don't know, man. It was hard to watch, but also like I'm glad we watched it last because you can really see, knowing what he's done now, where he started from and like how it just continued to create that same stylistic approach to filmmaking. And I thought that was kind of probably the best part for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps being aware of his other movies. This movie I had it written down for a while because when we talked about both The Lighthouse and The Girl with the Needle, the questions came up in those episodes of what movie is like this? And Eraserhead was like this. This movie is tone. It is horror, nightmare, tone. It's drenched in it, and that's what it is. And for that, it's great.
That's right. Sometimes it's a single tone for extended periods of time, and that can.
So much of it was that low end, just
audio and otherwise, and it just can become increasingly uncomfortable. It's hard to watch, literally, in the sense of it just gives you a sense of discomfort.
Yes,
and dread,
and that's great, right? Because like it could be considered slow, but there's a feeling throughout the entire movie that's really it's not a pleasant watch. Yep. It's pretty weird because even as a horror, like a pretty big horror movie fan over here, I didn't like watching it this time. But at the other end of it, you kind of look back and you're like, that was a fucking experience. Like that is a nightmare.
That's fair.
That is the most nightmarish thing I've ever watched front to back.
Like knowing. At least maybe I don't know if it's a little bit more, but knowing Lynch and he sort of like takes like the American experience or the normal everyday experience and twists it. And so it's this idea that is the one thing at least where I sort of like kind of felt like what was happening in a sense of he was just sort of making this horrible twisted thing of you fall in love, you get married, you have your kid, you have an affair. It's just kind of the normal everyday shit. So twisted in terms of like maybe just like sort of
you have your 9 to 5
right
in the factory.
He works,
you live in suburbia.
It's just this boring, relentless fatherhood that he can't.
I think that was a middle section of it, sort of, or the first middle, and then it just did sort of extend into more weirdness that didn't quite maybe still follow it, but I wasn't following it.
I didn't understand when his head came off. I thought he was dead, and then
I didn't quite get that part either.
I thought one
but
thing
when
that
it landed upside down and the thing fell over and the brain separated, I was like, "That's pretty cool."
That's pretty cool.
For your first movie, that's pretty cool. You did it.
It might be fun to just kind of read through the plot on Wikipedia and talk about it a little, just sort of because there are parts that I didn't get at all.
I don't know if you have to get them. It's like
no, but I mean, like his head was being made into erasers. I thought it was cigarettes at first, but then I saw the pencil. But then
the name of the title was Eraserhead. You're like, oh, okay.
I thought it was because his hairdo made him look like a pencil.
That's what I thought. But no, apparently they take his head and make erasers.
Yeah, but
in
why?
heaven, it's all fine. So that much we know. That was a creepy song, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Pixies play that song when they tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
even like modern Pixies or the older Pixies. I don't know.
I've only ever seen the Modern Pixies once, and they didn't play it.
Okay, well, the Modern Pixies were kind of, they sound.
You know what I say, John?
good.
No Kim Deal, no deal.
No,
That's what I say.
That's a good one. That's catchy.
I saw the modern ones. They sounded. I don't remember where I did. It wasn't long. Too long ago. It must not have been. But
They were good, right?
They sound great, but they don't look.
Their new songs are terrible, but they play mostly their old stuff, and
it
they sounded
good,
pretty good.
But they also don't look like they're feeling it too much up there. Maybe just because they're old and don't move around a lot. But I don't know. Yeah, so it's sort of weird.
You're saying Frank looks tired? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he should be.
Tired.
Yeah.
Great.
Eraserhead.
Anyway,
what parts were you confused at? I felt like after watching all the other Lynch movies, there was other parts where I felt like something deeper was going on and I didn't understand it. In this movie, I felt like I got it until I absolutely didn't get it.
Let's start with the very beginning.
When the thing
Denny.
sings or whatever?
Explain to me.
Lady in the Radiator. What the fuck? I have no fucking idea.
Wait. Let's start. Let's go back. Let's go to the beginning. Guy and planet
the egg.
pulling levers.
The planet. The egg
What?
planet? I feel like that was just a 2001 Space Odyssey ripoff.
Oh, really?
Where instead of like
But
the
why?
orchestra, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, but
why?
so-
Because it was like a giant ball in the center of the screen and he was floating in kind of space and there was like stardust floating around
what's
him.
But it
What's
was
the
weird
guy-
because
the
it was
guy
like
with the
all
levers?
it was like all like transposed on
Yeah, it was,
itself, and like I don't know. I didn't really understand the
No,
open.
but
I think he was having sex, right? I think the guy with the levers was like the balls. Like he was in the testicles. And when he pulls the levers, that's when the sperm comes out. And that's when he's having sex with this woman, and that's when the kid gets conceived.
Oh,
I see.
I thought, what's that have to do with the?
That's why when the levers broke at the end, because he became impotent or he couldn't get it up anymore because he cheated and he felt bad or something like that. But otherwise, the guy with the gears, I'm pretty sure it was his sex drive or his letting go of the sperm. Because as soon as he let him go, sperm started like falling out of the ceiling, flying through the air, whatever the
true.
fuck.
and then growing and
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Do you have explanations for these, John? I didn't look up anything in this movie.
No, I didn't
because
either. I mean,
Lynch
I just don't
doesn't
know
talk
why.
about it, and he doesn't want anyone else to talk about it. He wants you to come up with your own shit.
Right,
so you're
right.
not supposed to like look at what it's supposed to mean. You're supposed to try to think about what it means.
Right.
For
Okay, well,
Lynch.
but I think that's an interesting. I like your idea because that sort of sets the scene for everything. Because you got the alien baby. But by the way, Nance is just great to look at. Like I think
His look of concern was painful to watch.
Yeah.
He was so anxious that it made me anxious watching it.
like again, my favorite scene is him meeting the mom. And the tension and the weirdness
dinner?
there.
Hearing the sound of the dog suckling,
Right.
I was
Dude,
like,
that was
"Oh,
creepy
God, I
as
don't like
fuck.
this."
And they left that
It
off
was like-
screen for like 3 minutes. So all
They
you did
did.
was
I was like,
hear it
what
for a
is
while.
this?
I know.
Yeah.
It was
And then you have
something else.
overly friendly dad, oversharing dad come in.
That-
But that
I laughed
angry
at the
plumber
dad.
dad coming
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
like it
yeah.
was so ridiculous.
but
The
then,
dad was just like, "So what's going on with you?" And
Yeah,
then he like
and
smiles
fro-
at him,
and
and
then
just has a
freezes.
smile freeze on his face. I laughed, and then also was kind of.
And then when you
Yeah.
combine it with the train sound in the background or whatever that was supposed to be, it was like really creepy. It
I
really
think
was.
until we got to the gross chicken, that was my favorite sequence of the film. Just how uncomfortable that was.
pooping blood, doing the dancing against little
Jesus.
chicken legs.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Do I just cut it like a regular chicken? You just cut it like a regular chicken.
And now for the next 15
this is
to
very
20
important.
minutes,
Part of
we're
the
gonna watch it.
22 pages of script. Hour and a half long movie, 22 pages of script. Very important line.
I mean, it
cut it
kind of
like a
almost
regular
felt
chicken.
like a silent movie,
Mhm.
even though there was still all that tone in the background. There wasn't much talking sometimes. Or like even
No,
when they
when
were in
the
the
dialogue
kitchen,
came in,
the
it
old
was kinda
ladies were just
startling.
doing shit. And like they just hung on that for a minute. I bet it was like, damn, this is so awful. And then you realize that's what he's trying to show you. Like, this is what life is. And people get old and like you have to do the salad with them still and they don't make any noise anymore.
That was sad.
That was sad. There's just a
This
lot.
movie's so
in this.
fucking
It's
weird,
fucked
man.
up.
It's so weird how many
weird.
things this movie is, despite being so probably inaccessibly art house and
Oh,
so
yeah.
slow.
Oh,
There's,
dude.
it's so
It
slow.
was-
There's a lot going on, but it's kind of amazing how slow it feels because it's only like an hour and 20. Well, it's like
Hour and a half. I
Yeah,
think.
it's not that long, right? But
No.
boy,
No.
and there's a lot of different things that go on. But boy, it is really slow with each bit. It lingers, fucking lingers, like
Lingers,
no other.
yeah.
It's like I've had enough of the mumps girl. I know,
I know,
she's singing,
I
she's squishing.
know.
I don't want to see anymore.
I don't want to see it. I don't. I seriously.
There she is, and she keeps going.
Oh,
Like, she
what
can
the
just
fuck? So
squish
what?
one.
That's it's an
That's
alien.
enough.
It's just a symbolic.
We're talking about the
child.
Radiator Woman?
Radiator
Yeah, what the
Mumps
fuck
girl,
is that
yeah.
thing?
Is that him just so my guess on this viewing was that he's like there's nothing in his house. He's got a baby, his wife is gone, he's got no TV, he's got nothing to do. So to entertain himself, he lays on his bed in the one position he fits and stares at the thing that's in front of him, which is his radiator. And then his imagination starts going because he's so damn bored with his boring fucking life that he's imagining.
And so that's like
stupid
maybe
shit
like
is happening in the radiator.
The girl is kind of like sort of half radiator. That's how come she's sort of like mump girl.
I don't fucking know. Why is her face like that? Why is she all old school, like 1940s, dancing all properly, stepping on sperm, giant sperm that look not like props. They look like they used to be alive. Like, what the fuck are those things?
I don't know.
The slow-mo shot of one of the sperms flying into the wall and splatting into it, top notch.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really, really upsetting.
I just can't imagine where his head was. I mean, they say he claims it's not an autobiography, but I think it might be.
His daughter thinks it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was born right before he wrote this with a club foot, and that she had extensive surgery to fix it. So she thinks
he was writing about her.
It seems to line up.
Oh, hey.
Yes.
Alien came out 2 years after this. I was just wondering, like...
so Lynch didn't like H.R. So H.R. Geiger wanted to work with Lynch on Dune. Because he saw Elephant Man. And he's like, dude, that was great. I'll work with you on Dune. I already worked with Jodorowsky when he was trying to make Dune, and it didn't pan out. So like I have some concepts. But Lynch was like, fuck you, man. You stole my idea. The baby alien coming out of the chest in Alien, you stole that from Eraserhead. That was mine.
Oh, wow.
And Geiger was like, no, I didn't even see Eraserhead before I made Alien. Plus, that design of the baby alien coming out of the chest in Alien wasn't mine. Like, the adult alien was mine. The baby alien, I proposed something, and they rejected it. And what you see isn't my design. So he tried, and then even still, Lynch was like, fuck you, I don't like you.
He's like, I don't believe you.
And Geiger was just like, I still like you, and if we want to work together,
hey man, I just want to be your friend, man.
First
like,
negative story
you.
I've heard of Lynch. That's the first time I've heard him being a jerk.
Yeah, well, that's young Lynch. When
maybe, maybe I don't know.
He only had
Young
the
Lynch
one movie.
was fucking weird, dude. He spent 5 years. Can you imagine? 5 years. Nobody's getting paid doing this movie. No one, like, they basically stole shit. Not basically, they stole shit to make this movie. Over 5 years, he squatted at the American Film Institute building for 5 years. In the bed they show in this movie, he slept in for years.
Wow.
I got trivia on the making of this. It's pretty ridiculous. Some famous people are involved, and I found out why Mel Brooks was on the making of documentary I watched previously.
Mel Brooks, huh?
Yep.
Mel has been involved in some really interesting things. I in terms of what he supports.
He was a producer of The Elephant Man, and they were looking for someone to direct it.
Yeah.
And Mel Brooks watched Eraserhead and was like, "We should get this guy. This movie's pretty cool." And then he took it.
Wow.
And then after Elephant Man came out, George Lucas reached out to David Lynch and was like, "Hey, do you want to direct Return of the Jedi?" And Lynch was like, "No, I do not."
Wow.
It's funny to watch this one, and this is like unfiltered Lynch, right? Because he had control, 100% control over everything. And everyone on the set was working for free. They were just like, I'll do whatever you want, David. It was like a cult almost. He had these like 8 people on this it was basically the American Film Institute have this large property. I think they still might have it in LA. It's a big mansion. And in the back, it's a fenced-in mansion. In the back, there's a bunch of stables. And he got a grant way back. It was the second year they were giving grants to independent film students because the independent film was like a pretty new thing back in the late 60s. And Lynch was on the second round of these grants, which is a pretty small loan. He had a 22-page script, and they thought usually it's like a minute a page. So they're like, okay, it's going to be a short film, 22 minutes. We'll give him this money, in and out. He'll be gone. We'll let him sleep there. 5 years pass. They run out of money multiple times. Sissy Spacek was involved in giving them money. They tried to get Terrence Malick to give them money at one point, let him screen some of the footage, and he walked out being like, this is bullshit.
Oh, wow.
So this movie is pretty divisive. I can kind of see it. Even if you're able to appreciate what it does and its influences, I could see people just not liking it for what it is.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
Especially then, where there wasn't like, there was only a few filmmakers that were that good anyway. So
this movie opened in one theater, and 26 people came the first night, 24 people the second night.
Not so great.
Not great. But the guy who owned that theater owned a smaller theater in LA, and he's like, we do midnight showings. Let's start showing it at the midnight showings. They went alongside Pink Flamingos, the John Waters movie. So it was a double feature at midnight, or they alternated it. I don't know how that works, but played there for a while. Then New York picked it up in some other cities. It ended up playing for 4 years straight.
Wow.
Over 17 cities. So it ended up making money.
That's ridiculous.
From the midnight showings. And a bunch of like famous people really like it. Stanley Kubrick said it was, multiple times in his life, said it was his favorite movie. During the making of The Shining, he screened this multiple times to the cast and crew to get them into the mood.
Wow.
It's influential. I mean, watching it, it reminded me of like Stalker. There were some shots that reminded me of Stalker. It reminded me of like Beetlejuice a little bit. Definitely The Lighthouse and The Girl with the Needle. Any movie that has like a thick dread over it.
Yeah.
This is the movie I think of that like is the first one I've seen that had that.
Yeah, did that very well.
Yeah. Anything else? So I'm dunking into trivia because I'm not sure.
I mean,
do you want to keep going through
what do you
the,
talk about on this one? Like, other than what
John,
creeped
if you want to
out?
go through the plot, how much we can get out of talking about the plot, we could try.
We can try, but also I was going to say it was David Lynch that just had like he was out there. This is from
Sources.
Drew Bose from I got kids here.
Don't mumble it, John. Say it like you mean it. Come on.
Drew Bose, and like this is like an article.
What the fuck are you even saying? I don't understand what you're
Far
saying.
Out Magazine. I'm trying to give a reference because we need to cite our sources.
Yes, but you're mumbling and saying words that are English.
So anyway, so a little Drew Bose. I don't know how they say the name. This is why people don't even cite sources. But anyway, talked about why David Lynch turned down Star Wars because he had a headache the whole time that George was showing him things like Wookiees. And just he got this migraine.
He's like, I can't do this.
I'm not going to handle the stress. He called his agent. I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to do this. And just so anyway,
he's like, that guy's weird. Okay, that guy's really weird.
That we heard the story from, right? Like, yeah.
Can I take his head off and put a little baby in there? No, shit.
Can I make a little alien sing and scream? And I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been odd if he'd done it. Well, I don't know if he would have. I think. Again, I think he sensed that he wouldn't have been able to control it either, so he wouldn't have been able to do things he wanted, and it would have not.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely not.
So, I mean, yeah,
and I think that's probably what stifles. That was what stifled his whole creativity. Like if he wasn't able to do somewhat of what he wanted to do, he just like wasn't interested. I'm sure.
Yeah, it almost makes me want to. I want to watch. Having seen all these other David Lynch films now, wanting to rewatch his version of Dune, even though I'm sure that there's and just learning about what he wanted it to be. And how was it
knowing
changed?
what the new ones are like, especially how far off.
I think there was. I'm not sure you're going to get that though, John, because I think there was a lot of studio meddling in that movie. So.
Well, no, I was. It might be just more interesting to just research it down and kind of see what his version was, and then what the studio did.
Gotcha.
But yeah, interesting. Okay,
all right. So what do we got? So we got the opening scene. The rock planet is the egg, and the guy with the levers is the balls, and the sperm is literally the sperm, and it's a sex scene. He's floating around. That's him being nervous and trying to enjoy sex, but thinking about getting pregnant because his mind is on the egg. Right. So he's like, "Oh no, sex is good, and I'm having fun, but I might get her pregnant, and I don't want that. It makes me nervous."
And then he does.
That's fair, and I that's as fair as anything. I had no interpretation myself. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like all the little dust motes. Dust motes are nice in movies.
Good dust mote.
That shot of him in the when he's in the eraser factory, and it shows him just like it's the iconic look with the dust behind him, and he's like backlit. You can see through his hair, and he's got just the weird fucking look on his face. That is burned into my head forever.
That's a good shot.
There's a few things in this movie that are burned into my head. I haven't seen this in a long time. But I remember how that baby looked.
Yeah.
That's for fucking
How
sure.
could you forget?
Do you guys have any guesses on what that thing is?
What do you mean? It's just like a plastic animatronic thing, right? I don't know.
That's what you thought?
Well,
silly John.
What is it? It's not CGI.
TC, you got any guesses?
I mean, it looked like something dead, but I don't know. It looked like something that was.
Oh, was it an actual
past.
corpse of something?
So Lynch never admitted to what it was because he liked the mystery surrounding it. But to like people's best guesses, people that work with animals and shit, it's either from the best guesses a lamb fetus or a calf fetus.
Ooh.
Embalmed because they only had one, and they had it for 5 years.
Whoa, but it smelled great.
Isn't that the second time the David Lynch's set
there
has
he was.
smelled weird? The brain.
You know,
right?
He had the human brains.
There
in Blue
he
Velvet,
was
yeah.
sleeping in that little bed, inviting people over for dinner. What's that over there?
He was
Dave?
sleeping in the stink. You're right. That's so gross.
What's
like,
that,
all right,
Dave?
wheel the baby prop in here. And at the end of the day, he had to like open the windows.
And
And
where
fan
was
it
he
out.
put?
He's just over there.
In a
just
freezer
like
somewhere, hopefully.
Conversation piece over there when you're having dinner, just like you invite a friend over. What's that, Dave? Oh,
Hey, you want to
it's-
check something out? I got this lamb fetus. What?
So this thing isn't. If it is real, because I mean, do you think it's plastic, John? That thing looked way too
You're
realistic.
right, that's
to be
fair.
plastic.
No, and given the budget and everything, it's like it makes sense that they were working with something.
So assuming they didn't have a constant stream of these things over 5 years, and assuming they didn't shoot all of the baby scenes at once, which they couldn't have because it's like throughout the movie, they had one of these things, and they made it into a puppet so they could move its eyes, so they could close its eyelids, so they could move the eyeball, so they could open the mouth.
Until, for the most part, it was all bundled together, So
But not the
maybe-
head.
No,
The head was there.
but maybe
They had
it-
like
I don't
all
know
these wires
what's
and shit
involved-
in there
if it
to like
was
move
involved,
it.
maybe,
Why
maybe it
is
is
the
like
question.
preserved, but it probably stank like all crazy.
Oh,
like,
it must have smelled. That
smelled
means
like
his
a
whole
morgue.
apartment smelled. I mean, they
Yeah.
must have
Oh,
kept it
yeah,
off
yeah.
site, right?
And the thing is,
he was
embalming
broke.
makes things stiff,
So-
doesn't it? Those eyes were moving around in the
Oh,
socket.
they were, and they were squeezing shit through the mouth, and
So it was, again, it's such a low budget film from such a while ago, and it still is a pretty good practical effect.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's because it's a dead living creature. It's like you can't be more gross than that. One of the scenes
can't.
they cut out of this movie was a dead cat. Lynch found a dead cat and he kept it. So where the tar pit they show in this movie when he's walking through the industrial wasteland, Lynch was just like, oh, tar preserves creatures. So when I found a dead cat, I threw it in the oil, and then I came back a couple years later, looked for the cat, found it, and then we shot some scenes with Jack. They tied the dead cat to the wire, and then Jack was playing with it in the oil pit. And we had a scene. It was about 5 minutes long in the movie in the initial cut, and we took it out after the first screening. Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
That was
Lynch.
just too weird, apparently. There were some things that were just a little too weird, huh?
that's too much.
Holy cow.
Dude, Lynch, listening to him on this movie seems like a fucking weirdo. If it wasn't for all the other movies we watched and how like everyone likes him and stuff,
Yeah.
he seems like he's crazy.
Yeah, he might be.
Listening to this movie.
He might be.
Because he literally was a paper boy. He was delivering papers to fund himself. He ate the cheapest food he could find near him, living in this like stables was a store nearby that sold apple pies for cheap, and he would just eat like a couple slices of apple pie a day.
Wow.
Just to sustain himself.
God damn.
He worked on the movie all his waking hours. Like they made all the props themselves. They borrowed vans. They went to like studio closings, and then they loaded the truck up with whatever they could grab. They went to Warner Brothers studio trash bins frequently to steal their props out of the trash bins. And they once found a barrel of like edited, clipped audio film. Like, you know how you get audio on reels? They had like edited out a bucket of that stuff. And they just took it and they used the sounds in this movie. Stolen
Dude.
Warner Brothers audio.
I mean, that
Layered
is
into the shit in this movie.
that is
Oh,
dedication.
Yeah.
Something
They spent
that
after filming
Wow.
for 4 years. The filming was like on and off a lot of the time, but like the filming itself was like 3.5 years. Then they soundproofed a room. David Lynch and Splet is the name of the audio guy. They built their own soundproof room, and then they just did a bunch of recording with a bunch of weird shit for a year.
wow.
Just them creating the sound.
What did they do
For
for
a year.
How'd they make money?
They didn't. They literally were squatting, and they ate for nothing.
What the fuck?
And they squatted and they worked and they ate the cheapest shit they could find,
Wow.
and that's what they did.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The sound
Which means
guy's
like
name-
he is kind of off because like no normal
Yeah.
person would.
Right. I
The weird
mean,
thing is he found
for
other people to
art.
follow him. He must be so convincing in his like conviction and direction and things, which is weird because he came up with the Lady in the Radiator thing halfway through the entire production. So like
Wow.
2.5 years into it, he had this vision. He's like, oh, and it's partially because they just got this new radiator stolen from
the house?
some other production thing. And then
oh.
he like saw there was this weird gap in the radiator. And it got him thinking, like, what if something lived? Like, this is a weird looking radiator. Like, something could live
what if the
inside the
mumps lady
radiator.
lived there?
Wow.
Yeah.
What a fucking
So he wasn't,
guy.
it's not like he had that idea from the beginning. He's still just coming up with weird, random shit. And yet these people are following him through this, which is just, I don't know, man.
I mean, I guess it's like you seeing the guy give his whole life to it. How do you not follow that, right? Like he's devoted himself in and out. Guy barely eats because of his art. And that is like, I feel like back then too, it was a little bit more cool to be an artist than it is now.
And he was renowned. Like as we talked about, he was a visual artist. He's a painter. He did a lot of short films that caught a lot of people's interest. So AFI had a school that just opened up for independent filmmakers. And he went there and quit. He basically what the program was, he's just like, this is not for me. I don't like this. And they wanted him back so badly that they called him back in. They basically begged him to come back in. They talked to him. They're like, what do you want to do? We want you to stay here. What do you want to do? And he's like, I want to make this movie Eraserhead. So they gave him money to do Eraserhead because he quit. It's cool.
Wow.
He just has like an aura around him, or his visual pieces are just so unique. You know? I don't know. I couldn't tell you what's
he just
good
has
visual art
the
or
thing.
not,
you know how they talk about it? Like he just has
Yeah.
it where no one can define it. It's just a thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He had it and he continued to have it. It's just crazy that this movie took 5 years to make. That's a long fucking time. That's a big chunk of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking back on it, it is.
Yeah. And this isn't probably what he's most remembered for. Not even in the slightest, right? Like, I'd say Twin Peaks probably is the thing most people know him for.
I still think we should watch that. I know it's not a movie, but it's great.
I'd like to
entire
watch it.
TV
Yeah,
show.
that's true. It'd be tough. Well, you do a series.
I mean, you can still just watch it.
You should watch it. But
Yeah,
If we all watch it, we could have an episode to summarize it.
Oh, that's true.
that's fair.
That's true. One episode for the whole series.
Because you're only supposed to talk about Lynch once it's in the rearview mirror anyway, right? You're not
Right.
supposed to dissect it in the middle
No, that's
because that'll
true.
just screw you up.
That's right.
Right,
But
right.
maybe
That's
we could
true.
have I don't know. Maybe we could split it up into 2 episodes, like the first 6. One episode for us covering the first 6 episodes of the show, or something like that, to kind of not necessarily do the whole thing, because we can think about it. I don't care. We got no rules. Hell, that's
true.
actually
That
we
is
moved
very
to TV.
true. We got no rules.
We are so much further away from Schindler's List.
We used to do Wednesdays. Now we're doing Thursdays. It's like a whole thing. We're
Guys, I just
chopping
got
it
a
up.
subscription to ABC Family. Can we just watch every show on there before we watch Schindler's List? That'd be great.
Sure. Yeah.
Christmas specials and all.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Kirk Cameron. Everyone
How
likes him,
about
right?
the Wire? Is another one that I'd love to have
boy.
an excuse to watch
The
that.
Wire.
I'm not sure I want to watch The Wire again.
I know. It holds up, though. I started it again not too long ago, but I just couldn't.
Speaking of
keep going.
good and unpleasant things to watch,
This movie?
The Wire and
oh,
Eraserhead.
Yes. Anyway, carry on.
It is related. Carry on. All right, so we got through sex scene. What is the next scene? Him walking through the wasteland. There's not much to that besides work.
No,
Sucks.
he's got groceries.
I got to go to this shitty fucking job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What was in the bag? He got was the worm in the bag? No, he got mailed the worm, didn't he?
No,
what was in his bag?
he got
Did we
mailed
see?
the worm. That was
What was
later.
that about?
That was
That was
after they
weird,
got
too.
married. That was
The
weird.
Wikipedia says it was a prize. He's like, he won a prize and he got it in the mail, and then he put his prize in his dirt mound next to his bed. I'm like, how are we supposed to know it was a prize?
No, I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what it meant or anything. It was just weird.
Yeah. So work sucks, and then he goes to the family dinner. Family dinners are awkward. Having kids are scary. Babies are not human-like. They're kind of aliens.
He also does meet sexy neighbor who tells him that the wife was expecting, or the girlfriend was expecting him for dinner. So we get a little foreshadowing there. So far, things are
Well, with her
seeming
cleavage.
actually kind of normal. Like he's walking home, meets a girl. That it doesn't get other than we had strikingly weird planet lever guy. Okay, fine, that's the intro sequence. And now it seems like we're normal. But then, it goes to
Except for
girl's
the
house.
soundtrack and the
right.
lack of people and the overall setting.
Right, sure.
of
But I'm
things.
like, okay, here we go with the story. But then once we meet the parents, then oh man, and we're back in weird land.
Yeah, we are.
But you don't know how weird it's going to get yet either until you get a hint where well, they're not sure it's really a baby.
You're like, is that a metaphor? Or
Right.
oh my god,
It's a fucking
definitely not a
lamb.
baby.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
She's trying to feed it yogurt and shit. I'm just like, oh, dude, Naomi got through. I was like, Naomi, you got to watch one of these. Like, she's walked out of every single Lynch movie so far. This one, she got through, and as soon as the baby was on screen, she got up and just went, nope, and then walked out of the room.
That's fair. That is totally
So
fair.
she doesn't like Lynch, I guess it's fair to say.
No.
This
is not the first Lynch I would show somebody, unless you were maybe taking some drugs and were in college and wanted something to really freak you out.
I mean, I really liked watching it last because it you got to see how he ended up, and then you got to see how he started, and it's better to work.
And
that
now
way.
you're kind of done, right?
Yeah,
I feel kind
now
of
I'm
done
good.
for
I've
a
had
bit.
it.
Yeah.
I don't need any more. We've had Twin Peaks, but other than that, I get it.
Currently full of Lynch. I've had enough. That was a perfect 4 run there. Yeah. Great cherry on the top.
I mean, we can consider ourselves well versed now in David Lynch.
Yes.
So since you say that, TC, and I haven't looked this up, but this might be a good question. How would you define Lynchian? Because that is a word, right? And I'm sure there is a definition. How would you define it?
Slow and intentional.
Nice.
But also
I would say thought-provoking to the point of confusing and potentially nonsensical.
That's good. That's better.
I would just say the films David Lynch made. Because that's
cheating.
Lynchian.
You fucker.
No, but maybe this is why he's kind of valued. I don't know. Where are his influences? Like if you look at Tarantino, he likes samurai action films, and some of the you can see this cobbling together of stuff that he loves. And I don't feel like that with Lynch. Like it's like
because you don't know his influences. He likes absurdist art and he likes absurdist literature.
Right.
That's what
that's
he
what
likes.
you get.
And that's not popular stuff.
He's not like some big movie nerd who like went and made a style putting some things together that he really loves. And it's why there is sort of at least there seems to be a different feeling of originality in what he does that I think compared to with other directors, like, oh yeah, they like this style a lot, so they did this, and then they adopted this other thing because that's something they like, and it's not bad at all. It's not to put that down. That doesn't mean it's unoriginal, but this is his stuff. Just seems like it's. I guess it is coming from a whole different source. So he has his influences and inspiration, including his life, but his inspirations have little to do with film, right? So that what we see is just not what we're used to seeing in film, I guess. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So according to, I don't even know if this is so AI has some definitions. There's not the dictionary definition is what John said. It's basically like anything related to Lynch's films. It's very people have a hard time defining it.
Yeah.
There's not a. I'm not going to read the AI one because I don't like AI. And it's probably wrong. I read that 1 in 4 AI answers are wrong.
That's true.
Just putting that out there. So that's not great.
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt
it. My LLM told me that too.
Yeah, right.
Good one.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Gotta check it.
Be careful.
Gotta check it.
Dinner scene, pretty straightforward. So far, except for the intro, John, pretty straightforward in terms of what it's.
Kisses her.
That was weird
when she says
that's like an Oedipal thing.
Yeah, that was like a weird. And again, it almost feels like it's like satirizing or just twisting all different family dynamics. You have you get the girl pregnant, you didn't want to, you marry her, you meet the parents, mom thinks you're sexy, just like dad is weird. It just feels like it. Just kind of hitting notes there, sort of.
Chicken's bleeding out the ass, undercooked Thanksgiving meals. You know what I'm saying?
The chicken, then it just goes way off the rails with chicken. The chicken, like, sort of, it's kind of moving in a clip there. Not really, because there's still some blank
comparatively
and quietness, but comparatively speaking, we're kind of moving, and there's a normalcy to that sequence, as absurd as it is, until you get to the chicken, and then we're just. Then it's all chicken.
Dancing with a chicken, watching blood, I assume, come out of the...
And just keeps on zooming in, and the sound keeps getting louder of the bubbling blood coming out of it.
Yep.
It's just so fucked up.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I'd call this horror. Would you call this horror?
It was freaky.
It was freaky, but like...
I mean, it was kind of off-putting, which horror is. I don't know.
I think it's the closest genre. I mean, it. I don't know unless you want to call it a discomfort film.
What about like a post-apocalyptic fantasy sort of thing?
Not really. No. It's really.
Didn't they talk about how things used to be green? Like everything, when I was young, around here, it used to all be green, but now it's all dead or something.
Oh,
So
I didn't take that as like we're in some kind of fantasy world. I just talk about the usual grousing of old people and
that's
things that
how
are industrialized.
I took it
Really?
too.
Yeah. I didn't take it as like this
Just
is
an old man being an old man.
Yeah.
I remember when it was better.
Yeah.
You know.
that's weird because it looks like a post-apocalyptic hellscape.
I thought
Kinda
it was
does.
like
Yeah.
it just looked
Yeah.
industrial, like more like
His walkway to this little suburban house had steam pouring into the front yard. That's not normal.
But isn't that because he's working nearby? Oh, I guess not. No, you're
But
right.
that house,
That's
that
not
little
normal.
fence looks like a perfect little American house, right?
Yeah.
It looks like the idyllic picket fence, like ranch house, but it's like next to the
next
factory.
to the train or the factory. Yeah.
Whatever that steam was coming from, I think it's fantasy. I don't know. More than anything, it's art house, though. If you're going to classify it.
that's
Right.
fair. Yeah.
So cheating. What's the worm thing? We don't know what it means. In the middle of the night, one night, it crawls out and goes up into the ceiling and crawls through holes that are in the ceiling for some reason.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
wife can't take the crying and leaves.
That's fair. Postpartum depression.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
maybe,
what that
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So she's gone.
And the dad is just like, I don't know what to do. I'm a dad.
Right.
Help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Typical.
Right. Yep.
He thinks about leaving with the baby, like the baby leaving the baby there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
The bed turns into a swimming pool. Pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
that was really weird. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they both go under really slowly for some reason, which had me thinking, how are they breathing under there? Why is this such a long scene? And then it cuts to the hair again. It's like, okay, they obviously ran out of oxygen.
They're dead,
Yeah.
but we still see the hair.
But the hair didn't die for some
Hair's
reason.
floating like a chimp. Yeah.
You know, that's an important take, right? Because I'm sure it's pretty hard to get his hair like dry enough and sticking back up like that again.
Yeah.
What else was confusing? The stabbing of the baby. He doesn't like his child.
Well, right.
He
But
wants
first
to
he
kill his baby.
realizes he's like just taking off the wrappings to realize that there was no skin, that the wrappings were like holding everything in. So then,
what does that mean?
he
Yeah,
stabbed.
what does
It's
that
not like
mean?
he.
Yeah, what are you getting at here, John?
I have no idea. I'm just saying, like it wasn't like he was one. He didn't go over there to
I'll
kill
never
it.
eat an oyster again. That was what I thought when I watched that
He
scene.
didn't go over there to
Gross.
kill it. He went over there to just see what was under the wrappings. Then when he saw what was under the wrappings,
And he was disappointed with what he's created.
no, or maybe it's a mercy killing at this point. He's like, "Oh, this thing's gonna die. I need to just kill it now."
Oh, I don't know
'cause
about
it
that.
has no.
I
don't know.
thought that it was supposed to have the wrapping on it, and he unwrapped it because he knew he was going to get to stabbing the
Oh,
important
see, I
bits
didn't know.
on the
I didn't know
inside.
what was going on there. I didn't know if he was just
No, I mean, to be honest, I didn't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
And then that whole weird fucking
Oh, wait,
sequence
we
of all the
forgot-
black shit coming out of it, and just the goop
We
coming
also-
out and
also
overflowing
forget
the
where it
mouth,
was-
and then the fucking thing screaming, and then the head gets large,
But-
and then it zooms at the camera over
Yeah.
and over
But
again.
Before
My
then,
God.
before then, after the wife leaves, it's sick for a while and gets little measles.
Measles
And
didn't like that.
Has a little thermometer.
I wrote
in
that
its
down
mouth.
as a note. Don't like this. Bumps on the dead cow. Not a fan. I'm sweating talking about this movie. I guess that's horror.
That's
Yeah.
good. Discomfort, man.
It is discomfort.
So then he has visions. He sees the man in the planet again, and we get our first glimpse of Mumps lady in the radiator.
Hmm. What did you think that person was?
No, I did none.
I
no
don't- I
idea.
don't-
None. You
yeah.
had no idea.
No clue.
No
What was it
idea what
supposed
the
to
heck
be?
it was.
I don't know.
I
I just
was
thought
just
he was
sort of
bored.
glad we didn't-
I
I
told
was
you what I
glad-
thought.
Why
I
does she
was
have the
glad-
bumps? I don't get it.
She wasn't there a long time, and I was glad. I was like, I don't want to see her again, but she's coming back.
And her creepy
She comes back
song, man.
2 more times.
A lot longer time.
Why is he
And then-
fantasizing about a lady with huge things on her face? That's what I don't understand. Does anybody know? It's just what he chose as the lady in the radiator? I mean,
Uh-huh.
so
what do you want from
nobody
me?
knows. Okay. All right. Wow. I mean, I figured somebody would
got
have come
nothing.
up with something by now.
I mean, I'm sure I purposely didn't want to read
Yeah.
people's thoughts on this, because I honestly think it's kind of gobbledygook in a lot of the ways, like more so than his other stuff. Lynch talks about this one even less rather than his other movies, because, I mean,
look at it.
I don't think he's just doing random shit.
Right. Yeah. And over
To get a
5
movie
years,
across.
too, you got to figure there's like a lot changing the whole time.
Right.
Why don't we do this instead? Why don't we try that?
And there was an 1.5 hour long documentary that Lynch produced where it was basically him talking in front of a microphone for 1.5 hours. Not a great documentary. But the last thing he did say was that, and he was old at this point, this is Lynch, to this day, I have not read or heard an opinion of what Eraserhead is that aligns with what I think it is.
Oh, wow.
So either
he's changing his mind all the time.
He's changing his mind, or he just says that because he wants people to keep trying to interpret what the movie is supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Either way, fine.
Weird.
I mean, if he explained this movie, people would talk about it a lot less.
It's very true.
That's probably true. Yeah. Because it's just
If
left up to our
If I told you
imagination.
it was definitely a embalmed calf, you would be less weirded out than if I'm telling you they had people who are experts that know about fetuses look at it and try to guess what it is. Finch won't tell anybody. That's fucking weird.
That's
right?
crazy.
That'll stick with you longer.
Yeah.
The mystery.
Yeah.
All right, what other scenes we got here, John?
Well,
we're getting close to the end.
You got the visions again.
This is when it starts to spiral and his head pops off.
Yeah, he sees the man on the planet, then the lady in the radiator, then he has the
What's the man on the
encounter
planet?
with the girl across the hall.
Sees
Right.
the man in the planet.
The lever guy is there about.
Oh, yeah,
He comes back a
he
little
was
bit.
in the middle
He
of the
makes
movie.
a brief appearance, maybe because he's going to have sex again.
Oh, he was thinking about sex. Yeah,
Maybe.
because he represents the nutsack.
If per Denny's theory.
Yeah. It's the only workable theory we have amongst the three of us, John. So we're going with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it lines up with what you're saying. If we see the lever guy and then he immediately goes across the hallway to sleep with the other woman,
no, she comes
then
over.
absolutely I'm right.
She comes over and just politely ignores the alien in the corner, and they have sex there. He doesn't go over to her. She's coming over. Hey, what's going on?
true.
Here?
Hey, reptilian baby, how you doing?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
All right. You're a dad. That turns me on. Okay, so we have that, and then we get the other vision. The radiator lady comes back, and that's when she sings Heaven, and his head pops off, and then it's replaced by the baby's crying head. His head falls from the sky, landing on a street, breaking open, and a boy finds it and takes it to a pencil factory to be turned into erasers, as you would.
Of course.
Right?
And then, even though his head popped off and cracked open and it was drilled into, after his brain gets turned into erasers, he's standing in the eraser factory.
Right.
Fine.
Well, he's dreaming. It's a dream, right? So then he wakes up, and then he sees the girl.
When does the dream
hall.
start?
Huh?
When he enters the radiator room, that's when the dream starts?
Yeah. Well, it's like after it's after the encounter in the radiator. He has sex with the girl across the hall, and then he has the vision with the radiator girl. That's when it starts, right? So we get to in heaven. Then he's awakened. He sees the girl across the hall, but he finds her. She's got another guy. So already
Is he trying? So just thinking about that, he cheats on his wife. This person sings "In heaven, everything is fine."
Right.
Is he contemplating suicide at this point because of what he did?
Oh, interesting. I don't know, but I don't know why he's. But then he's really hurt about seeing the girl across the hall with another man. Like maybe he was in love with her now, but now because his wife left him, he's sad.
Or he feels even worse because he cheated on his wife with a prostitute or a loose woman, which makes it less special. Maybe he thought there was going to be something to it, but there's nothing.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe yeah. Maybe so
because he does end up dying.
Because that guy kind of looked like he was. He didn't look like a match for her, right? So maybe it's like he was paying. Maybe.
Well, I think so. She was she had her chest exposed partially all the time.
Right. That's fair.
So.
The
first one's free, John.
You know.
First one's free. Second one, you're paying.
Yeah.
Across the hall. That's
Don't
the
you
deal.
know this is the usual routine? Come on.
That's fair.
First one's on me.
So then
None of them do that, I would
So
imagine.
it's important that he's like really upset. Then
I don't know if you had a neighbor that was a prostitute. It'd be pretty easy.
Hey,
maybe the first
you
one's
up?
free. See
Knock,
if you
knock,
like it.
knock. You up? I'm
Yeah.
up. What's going on?
You have to walk 5 feet. Come on. Neighbor discount. It happens.
At least a
Anyway.
location friendly, reduction in price.
Uh-huh.
You know-
And if they live above you as opposed to the side, you can maybe install a fire pole.
Ooh, wow, this got off the rails fast.
Sorry, John, were you saying something important? I apologize.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so his head pops off. He's got the baby for a head. He's grabbing onto the... That reminds me of Beetlejuice when his hands are on the rail and the little baby head is there and he's like turning it with his hands for some reason. That reminds me of Beetlejuice. That whole set does. With the checkers on the ground and everything. Yeah. So what happens then?
So he's upset, and then he's upset. That's when he goes back and takes the scissors to the baby. So arguably that he's pretty upset about everything at this point, and is leading to this.
Arguably,
Yes.
pretty upset at this point.
Yes. And the power in the room overloads that cause the lights to flicker, and then the child grows to huge proportions, and the lights burn out completely.
The dead child.
Yeah, and the child's head's replaced by the planet seen at the beginning. And Henry appears amidst a billowing cloud of eraser shavings, and the side of the planet bursts apart, and the man inside struggles with the levers, which emit sparks. And then Henry is embraced warmly by the lady in the radiator in a white void. This is all the Wikipedia plot I'm just reading. So not that I have any, I couldn't even remember all this to save my life. But yeah, there we go. Fade out, the end.
Some of those back and forth white screens, it did the trick, didn't it? When he's like got his hands out to her and then it like cuts and it's like, and it's all white and then it goes down low again. It's all black. And I mean, that's like basic shit. Right? When you think about it, right? A white screen or a dark looking shot of one person and then just the sound. And it worked wonders. It really did. Creeped you out.
Sound design was so good in this.
It was.
Set the tone, made it like it was slow and you could tell it was slow, but it didn't feel... Well, I didn't feel like I wanted it to go faster. I just wanted to get out is how I felt.
Yeah. Right.
Which is how it wants you to feel. So I kind of had to just like sit there and appreciate it.
And it's like they don't even use silence as a... like a reprieve. They use it to like dig at you even more. You know what I mean? Then it's back to the fucking low end sounds or the industrial like ambient sounds, and it's fucking oppressive. I think is the way I would put it. It just
I knew. I mean, the shot of him walking into his building, the whole him walking back from work is just linear, right?
Yeah.
It's him walking all the way back. There's a shot of him going into the lobby, pressing the elevator button. It hangs on him in that initial shot for maybe 5 seconds. And then it cuts to a much wider shot of him standing in the elevator with the whole lobby in frame. And it stays there without anything happening for about 10 seconds before the elevator's door closes and then it goes up.
And that's how boring everything
That's
is.
how slow this is. But I mean, it's like it's painterly.
No,
right?
I'm saying like that's how the metaphor is. This is how boring this is. Like I have to wait for this fucking thing to close. And I'm sitting here waiting to go into my apartment, but I can't go fast enough.
And it's stuff like that some people think it's a comedy because they can see that type of satire or whatever you want to call it, commentary on the boringness of standard living, I guess. But I just felt sad. I felt like, just a crushing sadness with this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Is it a masterpiece?
I don't know. It's interesting to think that like he's barely getting by, hungry probably a lot, and he's making all these comments on like a boring life when realistically, like if you had a real normal person perspective, it'd be like comfortable coming home from work, like family's there. It's like, it's actually great. I'm finished with my day and now I go to sleep and everything's fine. Right. But like he's making a statement on something he doesn't even have. Right. Cause his life sounds almost, I don't know, like really difficult, which I guess probably made him more upset when he got his girlfriend or wife or whatever pregnant at the time, because he's like, I got nothing. How am I gonna fucking have a kid too? Right? Like, so I don't know. It's interesting to have like an artist's perspective on a boring life when he's got like nothing even close to that. In fact, I would say his life is probably chaos in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even there. I mean, if he was working on this 24/7 and living in some unattended stables in the back lot of some mansion that nobody lived in, he's not hanging out with his kid.
No,
right? He's not there. His wife isn't living in this.
He'd be better
house.
off having that boring life,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he also grew up in Philadelphia and grew up poor, grew up in a dangerous neighborhood, and his life was like violence, filth, and squalor were my life growing up until he move to Hollywood. He basically like threw a bunch of stuff in a truck and moved to LA.
Wow.
And as soon as he went to LA, he fell in love with it instantly because it was like sunny. Like Philadelphia doesn't get sunny as LA. I don't know if it was because it was more of like getting away from his old life, but he's like, the first day of sunshine there, I'd never experienced anything like it before. And I was instantly in love with the light of LA, and I never left.
Yeah. It is
But
very bright.
It was a step up from him, for him from his previous life. So like, he's got darkness in him. It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah, sure does. That's interesting.
Do you understand this movie now more, John? Did that help going through the plots?
I don't think it's.
No.
I
didn't
don't think it
expect it
did,
to.
actually. Yeah.
That's okay, but it's just interesting.
Yeah. Got some trivia.
Right.
Again, unless you're a huge fan, I wouldn't recommend the documentary since it's just him talking into a mic for an hour and a half. But there was some interesting backstory, even though I think Lynch's memory is not that great. Different people have like different takes on the same things for some of this. So take some of this with a grain of salt. He said initially that he doesn't remember even coming up with the idea for Eraserhead. He doesn't know what made him write it. He doesn't know where it was coming from. Doesn't remember the idea or writing the short script. Just all out of his head.
I mean, dude, it's what happens as you get older, right?
I guess. Don't you think like you'd at least have some fake memory of it happening if it was your first movie or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah. Or it's just being himself, and he's just doing that for the, so he doesn't have to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Self-preservation.
CM3 cameras. You ever heard of those before?
No.
They had 2 of those. That's what they filmed on. Their film school cameras. He had a friend who had a bunch of microphones, and they just used borrowed microphones for everything. The lights they had like, they said 5,000 watt bulbs. That seems like a lot to me. I'm not sure how you'd power those, but they said they stole them from a studio lot and used them. So they stole those. He was living there illegally. He was squatting there illegally. They let him use this stable area, and some of the scenes were shot in the mansion portion as well, because they thought it was going to be so short. They thought it was, he's going to be done within months. But years in, he runs out of funding for the movie, but he keeps kind of pushing to stay there because independent people keep funding the movie. So he's like, oh, I got more money. Let me stay.
Oh, man.
And he wasn't, so even though they were allowed to film there, technically, he wasn't supposed to sleep there. But the guy who checked up on him was like, let him sleep there. And the bedroom to this, the main character's bedroom set where Lynch was sleeping, they padlocked one door at the end of the day, and they propped up a piece of plywood on the other door to block the door to make it not visible. So they basically locked him into this bedroom every single night. So the person to come and check on everything didn't check that room and make sure that nobody was there. So he was hiding on set to sleep in this bed for years.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So this is one thing that was confused because, John, if you're at the Wikipedia page, you'll see that Herbert,
honey.
the
You
first
can't interrupt,
DP,
okay?
worked
I'll
on
come
it
when
for
we're done.
9
Can you close my
months. And according to Lynch during this interview, he lost interest in the film and wanted to offboard himself because it was a long period of time and he wasn't the right fit. But they found this other guy that also worked for the AFI Institute or like went to school there. Fred became the DD. They had a 4-week period of time of onboarding him, and then he continued on for 4 years after that. If you read the Wikipedia page, it says that Herb died in his sleep when he was 35 years old, which did happen. But the Wikipedia page makes it seem like that was the reason they had to replace him with this other guy. But if you listen to Lynch, that happened after they replaced him. So I don't know what's true. The dude died in his sleep at 35. That's true.
That sucks.
When he was replaced, ? But they did have 5 years worth of 2 DPs working on this movie is the takeaway, which is
also
too
crazy.
long. It's too long.
Yeah.
They ended up paying one of the studio sales. They bought up everything they had for sale for $100. They just had piles and piles of trash from old sets. They paid $100 and they got it all. And then they spent months and years painting it, like fixing it, doing fix-up stuff as furniture, making stuff in the stables to create the sets for this movie.
Wow.
Could have saved a lot of time if you just hired some more people.
Did
if
he
they
like
had money.
shoot and reshoot, or did he just shoot once? Like how
Shoot
did
once. So they worked so hard on the lighting, and there were so few people on the crew that for when they were actually getting shots, they would get one shot a night
Oh wow.
max, and it was mostly spent like they'd spend a lot of the pre-production, like the non-shooting part, setting up the sets and stuff like that, and then when they were shooting, they would do the lights, and the lights would take them like all night basically
Wow.
because everyone had day jobs. They worked as like waitresses. Lynch was a freaking paper boy. And they came to set at 5 p.m. and then they worked through the night
Wow.
on this movie.
That's
That's why the
dedication.
guy was coming in the daytime to check on the set. It wasn't like at night, it was in the day. The guy checked it, and Lynch was in there sleeping during the day.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Would never happen now.
No. There was a period of time, so Lynch was friends with a guy at the time that worked at the Warner Brothers prop department. And this guy once let Lynch walk through the prop department and grab everything he could carry out of it. And they had a truck, and they filled the truck up with a bunch of props. The guy didn't sign it out, and Lynch returned it 4 years later to this guy at the Warner Brothers. So they, out of typical procedure, took a bunch of shit from Warner Brothers because they knew somebody.
That's kind of funny. They're like, they don't need it. Come on. They throw this
they're
shit
like,
away
"Hey,
like
they
it's
just
nothing.
use that one. Yeah. They don't need all this shit. I'm sure they have hundreds of doors sitting in storage. You take one of the doors, nobody knows.
That's true. That's probably true.
The Eraserhead main character suit they got from Goodwill.
Nice.
Very good.
There's a lot of good
Yeah.
Goodwill stuff out here.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So they started filming in the parents' house first, then to the apartment. There is a shot where you can see a gap in funding. So he's first going into his apartment, and he's walking up, and he goes up the elevator, and he's walking down the corridor, and he's kind of coming at the camera, and the door to his apartment is on your right, and he opens the door, and it cuts, and he's inside the apartment, and he's walking into the apartment. That cut from him being in the corridor to being in the apartment is 1.5 years
Holy shit.
between those two. And they shot the movie in sequence.
I was going to say,
So
they did it
basically-
linearly. Like
They did it linearly.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So they had it. They filmed in the corridor, yelled cut, came back the next day. They're like, guys, we don't have any money. We got to pause. Everyone, I'll give you a call when we're ready. And then 1.5 years goes by, and he's like, all right, guys, we got some more funding. Come back in here. Stick your hair up. Get the
That's
suit out.
Crazy town.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. They used 20 lights per shot for most of the shots. They would really light the shit out of the sets. The DP took care of all that stuff. I think typically the DP helps with that, but there's typically like a person dedicated to doing the lighting, right? And the DP kind of
The
doesn't
lighting?
necessarily. Yeah,
DP usually doesn't do lighting.
right.
Yeah.
But he has some say.
Oh, yeah. He has
it.
understanding of lighting very much.
Right.
And then,
but it's usually not his job.
But
Just like it's also not the cameraman. DP is usually not the cameraman as well. Usually that's a separate person. In this movie, DP, cameraman, lighting designer,
these days,
also did some of the props.
These days, the DP is definitely doing the shooting.
You think?
Oh, yeah. I've seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen it not happen that way too. I think it
Yeah.
depends on.
It depends on how much
old
money
they
you
are.
got and how
And how-
orthodox are you from
Yeah,
the old days.
and if you're using film versus digital, I think
Digital,
that's a
yeah,
factor, too.
definitely.
What else we got? There was no windows in his set, so it got pretty nice and dark in there during the daytime. He had no problem sleeping.
Huh.
Some of the locations were in downtown LA. I don't know if you recognize any of them, TC.
I didn't. No.
There's a mall where that concrete pit, where there's like a bunch of gravel pits and stuff. That was on a construction site they filmed because they were building a mall there. So there's a mall that exists there now.
I mean, that's great. Just like guerrilla style. We're going to go in there and we're going to shoot on a fucking construction site.
You mind if I stand in your gravel here for a minute?
Yeah.
Thanks. They tried to make it to Cannes Film Festival, the Cannes Film Festival, and they came to LA, and they said these people from France were going to be screening movies in New York for the next 2 weeks. He had a date in mind, and from that date, he knew he wanted to get there and finish a cut of this movie so they could screen it and potentially include it in Cannes. So the last day, the day they thought they would be shooting it, he went to the theater that he knew they would be watching it at, and they had he went into the ticket guy and was like, "Hey, I brought the film for the screening," and the guy's like, "Great, give it here." And then he's like, all right, you got 4 more films ahead of you. So we're going to play the other 4 and then we'll play yours last. So it was like, great. So Lynch went out on the curb, sat, smoked cigarettes nonstop for the next 5 hours, whatever, how long it takes to play 5 movies. With Lynch thinking that there's these people from Cannes Film Festival in there screening all these movies. As soon as his movie screened, he went in, he was like nervous the whole time. And he went in and there was literally nobody in the theater. The guy was screening these movies just to screen them. And the people had left 2 days earlier. So he like spent money he didn't have to fly from LA to New York and like speed rush this cut to try to get these people to watch it. And then just sat there wasting his day, assuming that they were in the theater and they weren't even there.
What a bummer, huh? That must have been a crushing moment for him.
Yep.
Damn.
I can't even imagine. But then he wasn't done with the movie at that point. He just like threw together a cut. By the time he actually created a final cut, quote unquote, it didn't end up being the real final cut, but the screenable cut was an hour and 50 minutes long. And they screened it once. And Lynch said that in the projection room where he was sitting and watching the movie, there was a button you can press to make the sound go up 2 dB at a time. And he was sitting in that booth and he kept pressing the button up. So by the end of the movie, he was like, I think it got a little too loud. So
funny.
Everybody in the theater was like in physical pain and the reviews of it were terrible.
Oh, God.
He thinks because of it, and I'm not surprised.
Oh, my God. I mean, he tried something, you know?
He's like, it's a little too quiet. It's still too quiet.
I get it.
But so that experience was terrible for him, but he ran home. And this was supposed to be the final cut. Like they already had some things set up to screen the movie in other places, but he's like, he called his other people and be like, I need to cut 20 minutes out of this movie. And everyone's like, oh my God, are you sure? I thought we were done. He's like, no, 20 minutes, got to be cut. So he ended up cutting that day or that week or whatever, as soon as he could, cutting out these 20 minutes of footage. And then after that cut, that frantic cutting, that's what we have now is this one.
Oh, wow. I wonder what he cut out.
They describe the scenes. They sound odd.
Do they? I mean, what was I expecting, I guess?
Let's see if they cut. Among the cut footage is a scene featuring Coulson as the infant's midwife, another of a couple of children, one of them Lynch's daughter Jennifer, digging for dimes in the dirt, one with a man torturing 2 women, once again played by Coulson, with a car battery, and one of Spencer, the main character, toying with the dead cat.
Yeah, we don't need those. Yeah, we can get rid of those. Yep.
Car battery torture scene?
Yeah, we don't need that.
That would have been weird.
Oh, man.
I think the dead cat would have fit, but the car battery torture scene, I'm not sure that fits.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Strange movie, strange man. David Lynch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Mel Brooks, talked about him. Huge fan. Everyone worked for free. I think I mentioned that. Even some of the people working on it paid out some of their money. Jack Fisk, who was one of the producers and in the movie for a short period of time, he was married to Sissy Spacek at the time, and Sissy is from Money, I guess. She ended up being a producer. So this is pre-Carrie, wasn't it? 1977? 1976, so it was the year before. So maybe it was the Carrie money. Maybe she wanted to invest some of that Carrie money. Yeah, Terrence Malick didn't like it. What else we got? I think that's basically it. I went over all the other stories.
Before we wrap up, Dave, I keep forgetting to mention this.
What do you got?
But something about Blue Velvet that I just wanted to point out that I completely kept forgetting to point out. So in the movie, when they're in the diner, you can see that Kyle MacLachlan has a small hoop earring, which seems totally strange for his character in the time.
He has that earlier too.
Yeah. So anyway, why is that just something he had in normal life and just didn't want to take it out, or was that actually part of his character in the movie? This has been.
This is a random.
I mean, it's an early '80s movie. Wasn't that like a thing?
But wasn't it
back then?
I thought it was set more of a period piece in the 70s, late 70s, I guess. Oh yeah, I guess
It's true.
I don't know when that time period of the film itself is set. Like, anyway,
I had a feeling that he was trying to come off in his weird suburban way, like what's his name, the bad vampire in that movie about teenage vampires.
oh, what?
Lost Boys.
God, Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember the name of this? Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to be like that a little bit.
Oh yeah, kind of cool.
Like a tame version of that style.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the thing for a while in the 80s, right? And I always thought that it was like him venturing a little bit towards that.
Because like the cars and stuff were kind of 50s almost. They were like back further in time. So it was very strange to see him with the earring. But yeah, anyway, not that it matters too much, but it's like,
Intentional.
yes.
I'm sure it was
probably
intentional, John.
intentional. Okay.
I mean, Lynch really liked McLaughlin, so maybe he just let him do it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, as long as it'll be in my movie.
So where my earring? You can't really see it. It's not very that prominent. It's just tiny.
Do you see TC's Lynch AI photo
Yeah, it's
behind
great.
him? You see, move your head, TC. Look at how fucking weird AI is.
Oh, I didn't even notice that because I just saw the hair because that looks a little bit more like, there's a little bit of a Brandon Fraser quality to Jack Nance's look. Kind of that sort of like
Encino Man?
yeah, kind of. But anyway,
Yeah. You ever seen Encino Man, TC? You got to throw that on the list.
I've seen
classic.
Encino Man. Yeah,
But you're right. That,
It's got
that
friggin'
is
Pauly Shore in it.
Yep.
Sean Austin.
wasn't that
Sam
Pauly
Wise
Shore's
himself?
first movie?
Was it?
Like first big movie?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Is that before In the Army Now?
I don't know. Is it okay? Well, rephrase.
well,
Maybe it's
we
the first
should-
movie I
the great
remember
Pauly
Pauly Shore
Shore.
from being in.
Let's find out.
It was before Biodome and In the Army Now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was his first big one.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Really?
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law,
Classic.
son-in-law. Encino Man was 92. Son-in-law 93. So yeah,
Encino Man's pretty funny.
Yeah.
We watched it recently. Brendan Fraser was a fucking specimen back in the day.
He
Holy
was.
shit.
He was.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
the
now he's in
Mummy.
the Whale.
I love the Mummy. The two
The Mummy
Mummy
was good.
films. I
Yeah.
really like.
There's
those.
more than two, but yes, the first two are the best
I mean,
ones for sure.
the two.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first two are the only ones that matter.
Yeah. All right, so guys, we did David Lynch. How do we feel? Let's give a general impression.
Wait, top
Any
250
last
for this
words? Top 250 for this film.
No, I mean I don't know. Yes, because it's like it's David Lynch. But I
Has this
wouldn't
film
watch
been influential?
I wouldn't watch
I mean,
it
other than
again.
Aliens, I assume.
It influenced The Shining.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Right. Kubrick. Right. I mean, I would say yes. I think it's yeah.
It's hard to say no because it's like a legend's first film. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like by default it should be in the list.
And it's the most him film of all the films we've seen. I think.
Mhm.
Right. I mean,
I'm going to go yes on this one easily just because we watch a lot of movies and I watch a lot of horror movies and this movie stands out and it's just unique. And I'm sure there's probably some looking at, some suggestions. There are foreign art house surrealistic horror movies that exist that came before this movie, but this is the American version of that. I'm an American person, so not to be closed-minded, but like that's kind of a big deal for people who have access to, a lot of the stuff that we have access to.
Mm.
And the influences of people making movies in Hollywood for the most part.
True.
This movie is in the horror genre, it is in a corner by itself, and everything else is like less far away from some type of center. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like this movie is kind of to me equivalent to like 2001: Space Odyssey, because like that to sci-fi is slow and perfect in its own way, and this movie is in the dark surrealistic horror landscape. Like you can't outdo this movie because it's the grossest fucking thing you've ever seen. It's super fucking slow. It is
Right.
the most drenched in atmosphere that you could possibly be because you're just watching a still frame and listening to industrial grinding. Like that, you can't do any more than that.
All right. Well put.
Is it? Or am I just rambling? Thanks, TC.
No, I mean I think that's well put. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's for Eraserhead. Is there anything? How do we feel? Let's go start with John again because John was new to every one of these movies coming in for Lynch's in. What did you think about? If you can even remember a month ago, what did you think about Lynch then? What do you think about Lynch now?
I didn't really have much of an opinion of Lynch then. I just that lots of people liked him. I hadn't really gotten into any of his films, so I just sort of had no opinion. other than I knew he was well respected and weird. So that was kind of my opinion then, because I've come to respect him. I still, he's still really weird. And I still don't know quite what to make of his films, and that's sort of interesting all by itself. I don't hate them. I don't think they're also like talking down to me or anything like that, or too arty for their own good, or so they're just his. And again, that's one of the really cool qualities about this stuff. I think that he's doing what he does is interesting and weird and does have meaning, but it's also like just what he wanted to do. The ones that we've seen, so that makes it pretty special. I think, even though I don't know if I like the films.
Yeah, I had that feeling watching this movie. I'm like, I don't like this, but at the end, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah. I think I have a new respect for him. I don't think when I was younger and I watched some of these, mainly I think in film school and just because I knew people that loved film so much, and this was kind of like a rite of passage, right? I think I didn't really fully understand it, just sort of his approach, how he, his techniques, and I think now after this exercise, I certainly have a little bit more of an understanding of his style and sort of how he creates a scene in a different way than what we're used to seeing in most film. And so I think at the very least, I have even more respect for him now than I did before. And I don't necessarily, like John said, I'm not going to recommend this stuff to people.
None of it?
Unless they're like really movie nerds and they, want to dissect film, then yeah, you got to watch it and let me know what you think, right? But if it's just, hey, it's Friday night, let's watch a movie, David Lynch is probably not going to be the guy. However,
it's true.
It does, give you sort of a better look into filmmaking and how like it can be different amongst different people. And I think that we're losing some of that these days, where like everything is so cookie cutter, right? There, even I'm conditioned to like that hero's journey story. And it's like it fakes me out every time until it's like, oh wait, that's the same story as the other movie.
Yeah.
But
It's a good story.
it's that's kind of you don't get that too often anymore, and I think we're gonna see that less and less as we go here with the age of AI. And I don't know. Hopefully, we'll be able to see some new filmmakers do this kind of approach with some of the new tools that are coming out, and maybe we'll see some stuff. But I think it's probably one of a kind.
Creativity.
Yeah, he's one of a kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with like everything you just said. I think the thing that it's kind of tough without sounding like an asshole. It's like needing to look into his movies to enjoy them to the fullest extent sounds like an asshole thing to say, but it's kind of true for this. And it's a good jumping off point because now I'm looking back at, his movies are so good. And it's to the point where I kind of want to go back and look at Bergman's movies with an even more open mind to be like, can I teach myself to appreciate these more? Because this shows that it can be done, at least to me and to you guys. Like if you learn about them, you'll appreciate them more and it increases the enjoyment, and you can learn about like patterns and things like that make the next movie you hadn't seen even more enjoyable than it would have been if you hadn't, learned about his style or whatever,
Right.
There are some directors where it helps knowing who's directing them. And not just in a fun way. Like with Tarantino, it's like, he likes feet and he likes blood. That's fun. Doesn't matter if I know it or not, but he does, and that's fun for me.
Yeah.
But like for Lynch's stuff, it's like sometimes people are ideas, or they're not actually people, or it's dreams, or it's not. And like you just need to go with it, and like you need to accept it because he's going to do that. If you don't accept it, I don't know what you do. You're just confused then, right?
Yeah, or you're looking for that, what we're getting these days with the streaming services of just a quick fix. You're not looking to like enjoy the movie and learn about what the movie is and why they're doing certain things. It's, you're trying to relax at the end of the day, and you're just served all this stuff that's very similar from the last stuff, and you just don't like, you end up being an old man. Exactly. You end up being
such an old man.
But like what you're talking about is old man shit, right? Of like going to learn something more, which will make it more enjoyable. That's not what the kids do. Right. That's, it's definitely a thought-provoking process with David Lynch that doesn't exist in many movies anymore.
It's cool, though. I appreciate that. I appreciate that it actually happens, and it's not just assholes in commentary tracks being like, Bergman is the best because his intent is. I'm like, I hate this.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think this was a great exercise. This was a good project to lead us into Halloween.
Halloween. Guys, it's Halloween time. We have a theme. We're going to do themed Halloweens. I think I told you the theme. The theme is kind of specific to the podcast, but we're doing horror movies directed by people whose other movies we have seen in one way or another.
Yeah, I think that's going to be fun. I'm excited to see what our first one is.
So the first one is the most straightforward. The other ones are more fun when it comes to not being able to guess that it's coming from those directors. But since we just watched it recently, Zach Krager did Weapons this year, and he did one other movie, and it happened to be a horror movie, and it's called Barbarian, and it came out in 2022.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to start
That's a good start
with that one.
Okay.
I do have one question.
Question.
Are we going to see Vineland?
Which one?
Again?
The Paul Thomas Anderson film being released tomorrow.
Oh, one battle after another?
No, it's Vineland. It's is that what it's called? It's called One Battle After Another, but it's based on the book Vineland, which is actually a book I really like. And it's
coming out
pretty good
tomorrow?
reviews. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we can.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt October Horror Week.
Well,
here.
we can do it after that.
Yeah.
I know. What do you?
I mean, I definitely want to see that movie this week. I haven't been tracking anything outside of my own little bubble, so I do want to see that. Fuck. All right, so we might need time to think about this.
That's fine. That's fine. I know. I appreciate the Octoberness.
Yes. We've had Halloween movies go into November before.
That is true.
It's not a surprise if it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's
do
that.
It's
All
like 95 on Metacritic right now,
which is insanely high for Metacritic. But we all like Licorice Pizza. There Will Be Blood, one of the best movies ever made. Benicio del Toro, Leonardo DiCaprio.
98 on Rotten Tomatoes with 186 reviews.
We gotta go see it.
All right, I guess we have to see it. I mean,
You gotta see it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
you gotta
down.
see
I
this.
like going to the theaters. Let's do it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Sweet.
I haven't been for a while.
All right. We'll figure out the schedule. Halloween's being pushed back a week.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
That's the
Go
kind
to
of
the
power
theater.
we have.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's the power we wield. It's an intentional artist power.
Exactly. Intent.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
Talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys.